From the art of the deal to keeping it real. Live from the Simply Vegas studios, it's The Power Move with John Gafford.
Back again. Colt.
What's up, guys?
Welcome back, buddy.
Thank you.
Welcome back. We missed you last week.
I know you guys had a cute girl on. And
We did. Yeah, we did. We did. We missed you.
Another guy on.
Yeah, we did.
Cute voice.
I'm not a cute girl.
We did have a cute girl last week, but you know, we always miss you. So for those listening at home, welcome to The Power Move. My name is John Gafford. I am your host. To the left of me is the Bulgarian mongoose, Colt Amidan, back from his tour of the subcontinent and beyond. That's what we're going with.
Yep.
It's close enough. Close enough. Well, yeah. And with us, as always, is Chris the counselor. Connell, how are you, sir?
Good. How are you, John?
And in the hot seat today.
You going to answer my question?
What was your question?
How are you, John? Nobody ever asked
How am I?
How are you doing?
You know what? Yeah, that's
how
true.
How are you
They
doing
don't-
today, John?
You know what? I'm doing well.
That is excellent.
I'm doing well. I'm doing well today.
By the time what about you?
I know. You know, I try to keep this as much as I can about you guys and never so much about me. But today, like, here's the thing, man. Everybody's got that friend, I like to say. You got that friend, right? And for me, I have a couple of them, which I'm lucky that way. And I've got a friend named Hugh, right? And Hugh lives in New Orleans, and he's friends with our set there. I've been friends with Hugh for 20 some odd years. Hugh is always on vacation with Kenny Chesney. Hugh is always all over. He is, he's house sitting for Vince Vaughn as we speak right now. And I've known Hugh for 20 years. Hugh drives a Range Rover. He's always got money. I know he's not a drug dealer. I know that much. But other than that, I have no clue.
How do you know when someone's not a drug dealer?
I don't know, but I have no clue what Hugh does to make money or earn a living. And I've acquired another one of those friends who seems to be kind of a jack of all trades. And that's Ari Gold, because Ari is the dude who was in the hot seat today. And Ari is, man, I turn on the gram and I got Ari playing beer pong with Post Malone. I got Ari in the Gentleman's Club in Atlanta. He is just, every time I turn on, it's like, I'm in LA. Who's here? Plug in. I'm in Atlanta. Plug in. I'm in Miami. And I don't think the guy's in the same seat 3 days a week, which is crazy. And obviously super successful. Also, go ahead and disclaimer, not a drug dealer. Let's go ahead and disclaim that. Allegedly.
I know, because I tried to buy drugs off him.
Allegedly.
You tried, it didn't work out. But dude, so look, man, our show, what we always try to point out is we believe that success leaves clues. And obviously, man, you're a guy with, I know part of your story. I know some of the cool stuff about some of the adversity you had to overcome and where that's led. And I want to talk about how you got into what you do now. I want to talk about whatever the hell it is you do now, because you do kind of everything. A jack of all things that make money, which I love. I love that, man.
Gotta spread yourself, you know.
You do, and then I want you to talk dirty to Colt for 5 minutes and see how quickly it takes to turn him. No, we're not going to do that. Just kidding.
Dirty.
So behind the scenes magic. Colt was commenting on the attractiveness of Mr. Gold's voice.
Yes, he was
behind the scenes magic.
Yeah, that'll be on the DVD on the director's cut.
The extended cuts. Don't worry.
On the director's cut.
Don't worry.
So first of all, bro, where did you grow up, Ari?
I'm actually born and raised in Atlanta. So I grew up right outside of Atlanta, Georgia, in a little spot called Gwinnett County.
In Gwinnett?
Yep. I went to Lacrosse High School, a pretty famous school for like athletes and a bunch of, putting kids in the league, and I wasn't one of them.
Did you know that somebody in this room used to be the general manager of the Norcross Hooters? It was me.
Not me.
It was me.
Yeah, I'm like,
no, it was me.
My dad and I, when he was something funny, my dad and I, after Pee Wee or Pop Warner, when you're like sixth grade, whatever, he'd say, "Okay, son, today we're going to go to a man's place for dinner." We'd go to Hooters, and he'd just sit around and be like,
"You're probably
it was probably."
He'd be like, "I'm just here for the curly fries." Like, yeah, tell him.
And that was it. So you grew up there. My favorite thing about where you grew up, Gwinnett, is that intersection off of whatever interstate that is that goes up. I don't remember which one it is anymore.
85.
85, where the mall is, right? Where there's literally a Waffle House on every corner of that intersection.
Well, you want to know something crazy? Growing up in Norcross, not a lot of people know this. Waffle House headquarters is actually in Norcross.
Oh, yeah.
And so there's more Waffle Houses in that general populous of area. You can go across the street and then across the street again and go to 3 different Waffle Houses.
bro, no question. Here's a little tip for you. If you ever want to hire the hardest working people you'll ever find
a Waffle House chef.
Find a, because no. Find a Waffle House general manager, because you know who he is? He is the chef.
Everybody.
He's the cook.
He's the Waffle House chef is literally the guy running the
running the whole place.
Busker.
Taking the phone, bussing tables.
Yeah,
dude, that
tables.
guy works.
I used to love to recruit Waffle House people. So you grew up in Gwinnett. You're there your whole life.
You know, ironically, you guys are talking all this stuff about drug dealers. I was a drug dealer.
You were? Okay, there you go.
I'm not even gonna lie about it. I mean, because look, back then the times were very different on weed, and I already knew growing up, you know, it wasn't properly regulated. Let's put it like that, right? And for me, you know, I got actually arrested when I was, I think, 17 or 18 for having 0.3 grams of marijuana. I swear to God, the cop. They
put you in jail over 0.3?
The cop smelled weed in the car, couldn't prove that there was weed in the car, so he dug. And what he did was, I'll never forget this, he took a piece of tape, clear tape, I swear to God, took a piece of clear tape, folded it in half, then put another side of it, and put it in between my seat like this, and then did the other side, and then sat there for 20 minutes picking out crumbs and stems of weed, and had enough to weigh up that it was a misdemeanor charge.
What would we call that, counselor? What would how would that hold up? In this
Lack of probable cause.
I mean, dude, we're talking 2008.
2008.
And this is Georgia, so it was.
But 99 problems had already come out. So people already.
You're gonna have
you didn't follow the advice from 99 problems. That's on you. That's it.
By the way, just a legal disclaimer: a police can search the trunk of your car whether it's locked or not. It is not a part of your Fourth Amendment.
Is that
protections.
really?
Yeah. You have no reasonable expectation of privacy in a vehicle that is in public.
What about a locked glove box?
Doesn't matter.
Learn something new every day.
Live and see.
I like that.
Yep,
See
that's people always think that about the Fourth Amendment. There's a whole thing about unreasonable searches and seizures and securing your own private property, but it only works within what's called your home, your domicile, and the curtilage surrounding, where there would be a reasonable expectation of privacy there.
Yeah. So the thing you learned today from the Power Move, we can wrap it up, is if you're smuggling, right up to Keister. That's all. That's the only place you're safe. That's
Verify
it.
this though. I also heard from a friend of mine that if you're in a hotel room, you have that same courtesy because it is a domicile.
Yeah, I mean, it's like I said, a car you have no reasonable expectation because you're taking it on public roads, you're driving it around, etc.
Right.
Now, a car in your garage is a different story. I'm not a criminal attorney.
You live in an RV.
Yeah, well, I mean, like, where's your RV? Is it on land that's privately rented? Then yeah.
Yeah. What if I'm on a yacht?
You're good.
I'm just kidding.
Ask me how I know. No.
You've been on a yacht with me. That's it.
Can I phone a friend? In this conversation,
You've been on the yacht with me. It doesn't.
All right, I'll
matter.
drag us all back.
All right,
so I used to sell weed to, but after I got arrested, I realized I was like, all right, you know, Atlanta might have to be the place for me. And I, you know, was doing various odd jobs, working at a burger joint. I worked at a smash burger. I did a bunch of random shit that I hated, and it all kind of fell back to weed. Everybody needed weed, and I ironically loved weed and had really great connections to really good stuff. And so the stuff that I had around that time was just very different than what most people were getting. It was like indoor, really like really boutique weed. Like now it's really popular, but back then this wasn't.
Yeah, it was like from Mars.
It was unheard of. It was unheard of for somebody to pay $300 for an ounce of weed.
Ludacris, I think Ludacris wasn't he? Back then,
I'm not
not at liberty to disclose our previous client list.
But did you make good connections through that?
The best connections of my life. It actually put me. So what I did was I had a lot of friends in the music scene and a lot of the friends in the music industry that knew I had good weed. And the problem was that around that time, artists were coming to Atlanta to record albums and to spend time in studios. And
Babyface, So Def, all that. Yeah.
These guys were locking themselves in the studio.
Or LaFace.
And so, I was getting phone calls 1:30 to 4 a.m. while I'm still in high school. And going and leaving, sneaking out, going to the studio, hanging out with like some of the biggest names in the game, and selling them with smoking weed. And then I go back home and I go to high school and people are like, "What'd you do last night?" they studied. What'd you do, Ari? I'm like, I was in the studio like,
with Ghostface Killer and
$1,000. You know,
Titty Boy and I were on some blueberry.
yeah, like we'll be going to his birthday party this Sunday. Like, bro, how? Yeah. So that progressed over time. Like, I kind of fell out of weed, and I fell into lacrosse. Ironically, I moved to Israel after high school. I wanted to get the hell out of Georgia. I just knew selling weed was like, it was cool, but it wasn't the best.
Yeah.
And that time again, it was dangerous. So moved to Israel, did a program where, you know, met a bunch of people, did like an IDF program where you get to like, you know, do basic training and all this shit. I loved it. I loved being out there. But again, got in trouble for weed.
So where were you playing lacrosse though?
So got in trouble for having weed on not even on the base, but one of the kids at the hostel had weed in his bag, and everybody in the room got, you know, in trouble. Yeah. So whatever, kicked out of the program. But I met some guys that were talking this crazy jazz, like, yeah, man, we're starting the first ever Israeli national lacrosse team. I laughed.
It's like a Cool Runnings.
Dude, I laughed. I'm like, lacrosse in Israel? Funny. They invite me to a warm-up mixer at some big park, and I see there's like 15 guys. I'm like, oh, it's rough. So I start throwing around with them. They're dead serious. They're like, dude, why don't you come out for an exhibition game for the Kraft family? I'm like, I'm not really thinking about it. Own the
Patriots family,
Bob, and the Patriots, and So like, come to find out, Robert Kraft has funded the entire IFL, which is the Israeli Football League, and we're going to,
because why not?
And we're going to the Jerusalem Stadium to play a game in the halftime of their Champions League. That's cool. So it's like Maccabi Haifa versus like Jerusalem. It's a big game, and then halftime comes out, and we bring out fucking nets and do an exhibition, and you know everybody's hitting and stuff, and we come off, and Robert Kraft's son, I think it was Bob or one of the I always forget which one it was, but it was the older one, not the nerdy looking one. He had his daughters there, and they were, you know, spectating the whole thing. And he comes out of the field, starts throwing around with me, and we start getting into a whole conversation about the Patriots. And I'm sitting here talking to the guy who owns part of the Patriots about Tom Brady, the guy who I'm like the greatest of all. Dude, I'm in love with Tom.
Yeah, the GOAT.
And this is maybe right after they just lost to the Giants in the Super Bowl. So it was like, greatest season ever. Don't worry, we're going to get this. We got this. We got 2011. Oh. So whatever, fast forward. Fucking New York. Anyways, fast forward, I come back to the States. I catch a couple random gigs coaching lacrosse for like little leagues. I was coaching youth, you know, like U9,
Did you wait. Did you start playing lacrosse in Israel, or were you playing
lacrosse in high school? I played a lot of different sports. I grew up playing soccer, baseball. I played football with the same group of guys from sixth grade all the way to high school.
I love this because my son is a lacrosse player. And this weekend we had an exceptional experience. I don't think I told you about this, but we went to San Jose for a tournament this weekend. He's 14 under or 2026.
Where do you buy gear out here? I haven't seen a single fucking lacrosse league in the state of Nevada.
Lacrosse monkey.
Oh, all right, yeah. Okay.
So we were playing a 2026 tournament in San Jose, and it was, now my son plays on a rec team, so his team is there's probably 8 rec teams playing 14 under in Vegas, right, through all the areas. He's his rec team. So when we went to this tournament, though, every team was an all-star team. So the all-star of them. So they're an all-star of the club teams.
Yeah.
Right. So we had 5 games.
To play in a couple
No. Right. We had 5 games, and we boat housed everybody. The first 5, LA trounced them to the point where, like, lacrosse. For those of you who've never seen a game, it's not like sports where you sit with your fans, they sit with their fans. If your kid plays defense, you're down there, and you're with the other team's parents who play offense.
You're sitting right next to the dad talking shit.
Yeah, you're right there, exactly. So as we're watching this,
your kid sucks,
but like,
buddy.
No, the LA dads were the worst because they could not believe they were getting beat.
Sure.
And they're like, This is so you guys are an all-star team, right? It's like, no, we're a rec team. They're
the Clippers thought they were going to win too, John. Doesn't
I know, but they're like,
You
you're
should
like,
see lacrosse in the South. It was so different because none of us played lacrosse, and okay. When I started, someone from my high school came to me and was like, "Hey, man, you play football? You're pretty physical, dude. How about if I tell you I can give you a 6-foot pole and you can beat the shit out of people on field? Would you want to play?"
Yep.
What fucking sport is this? Sign me up. That was literally how the conversation went. And I was a sophomore, and I said,
Sure.
off season, down.
Yeah.
Get some cardio, fine. I led the league that year in takeovers
Awesome.
and penalties.
Yeah. Well, that's what
Tried to take my stick off and
if
stab
you're
somebody.
a defenseman, you should be doing that.
No. I didn't even know how to play the game.
Were you a long pole defenseman?
Pole, and I was murdering kids. I was literally. I had a stat that somebody showed me where I put 1.2 people out of a game every game. I'm like, that's a real statistic. But that's pretty cool,
dude. If you got kids though, get them in lacrosse because, like I was saying, man, this tournament, you know, it came down to we ran through everybody. We got in the finals against Seattle, the best kids in Seattle, right? And with 18 seconds left, we were tied 5-5. And it was the closest game we've been in the whole game. And our best kid, Damon, who just can rip it, probably, I mean, at 13,
he's got one kid.
He's got an 80-mile-an-hour shot at 13.
Yep.
And he just ripped it, and you hear thong off the post. And you're like,
son of a gun.
And then double overtime, we lose. Now, the thing was, all of our kids were just collapsed in tears. And it's just, in this day and age of video games and nonsense and bullshit and just everything, it was so great to see kids so invested in something.
I'll tell you something
just for
about
the
that
sake
moment.
of it. It was great.
Something about that moment, they will remember that forever.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you one thing. Next season, I'm praying for those kids.
Yeah, God help them.
I'm praying for the kids
Seattle.
that played that.
Seattle.
I'm praying
help
for
them.
because I coached a team like that, Johns Creek High School. I won't even name a bunch of the kids, but they all, I mean, I'm still friends with them. I still talk to a lot of them, and one of them has actually gotten into coaching and coached a championship team like myself, and I love that. I love watching that, and I love hearing experiences like that where I get somebody else to do something. They lost one close one the season before to some kids, and it was really just a lapse of just kind of it's like a dick around, but like, they lost because of them, not because of the other team. It wasn't, you know what I'm saying? When I say these guys came out, John, you know about lacrosse and scores, 22-3.
Yeah, that's brutal.
By halftime.
Oh, that's brutal.
By halftime. I had the kids that had never even hit the field playing.
Play all the seniors 45 seconds in.
Dude,
that's brutal.
But when I hear them and I see them come on the sides and then they all talk about that experience, that hurt, that pain, that hunger, it was like they weren't even going to think about. They weren't even going to think about taking a loss.
No. So, dude, again, I'm sure you'd vouch for this. If you got kids and you want to get them lacrosse, call me because it's the greatest thing ever.
Thrill of victory, agony of defeat.
It really is the best sport we've ever played. But let's get back.
Lacrosse took me down that path. I was coaching at a high school. I was coaching at a high school in Georgia, and on my way to a practice one morning, I hit a patch of black ice.
Oh, that's right. This is the story.
Yeah. So the day after my 21st birthday, on my way to work, first day of work, I remember texting the coach that morning. It was like 4:15. I'm like, hey, it's pretty rough outside. You want to do this? He's like, fuck yeah, we got turf. Fuck them. And I love that mentality. I was like, right on. I'm in the car. I'm on
play
the
ball.
I remember trying to go to the Chick-fil-A and grabbing breakfast, and it was too early. They weren't open, so I got on 141 and right by Peachtree Parkway and the Forum. My car I remember kind of just started going sideways and then hit sideways the other way, and then it just started whipping. I ended up in those trees off to the right, and my car had wrapped around on the driver's side at a 90-degree angle, so I was fully encased, pinned up against a tree. So if you look at my legs, actually, you can still see that they're kind of little crooked, and then this one's all metal.
Well, I remember seeing you the pictures you laying in that bed, just looking like RoboCop.
It was tough. It was tough. I had an 18-hour surgery, 2 blood transfusions. They made my parents sign a document saying, hey, you might not come out of this thing. You're on your own. And when I woke up, a couple of days later, I just remember having weird-ass dreams and seeing things that I couldn't explain. And doctors told me, it was grim. They were expecting me to be kind of in a wheelchair or at least assisted walking for the rest of time. And
did you see an old man by a stream by chance?
Here we go again.
God.
Because Colt swears that God came to get him one time by a stream. And we're like, no, I'm pretty sure that was just a bum. But
I'll tell you a weird one. I'll tell you the weirdest one. And the
very specific height. You remember this guy when you were 5? Oh, he was 6'1", 220.
John, I blocked it out. I'm glad you remembered.
I got a weird one. The best one I remember is I was looking down into the hospital room at myself on the bed, but the ceiling was like glass. And I remember kind of trying to bang through the ceiling to like get to my body, and my sister was sitting by my bedside, and I can hear her, Ari, come on, wake up. You gotta just wake up, dude. Like, it's time. You had some rest. Like, get the fuck up.
Yeah.
And next thing I know, I open my eyes and still gives me goosebumps. Like,
that's so
freaks
weird
me out.
because I had a friend.
Freaks me out.
He got in an accident, broke his back, and died for a second. That's exactly what he said.
Yeah.
He goes, I was just above the hospital bed.
That is
He
so.
goes to a room.
Wait. You had a friend?
Shocker.
I'm sorry.
He's a
We
quaint.
got rid of him. We got rid of him.
I thought he was a
refuse
friend.
to believe.
but,
I refuse to believe.
That
part of
story
the
is just not
It's
believable
so
at any
weird.
level.
Because he said the same thing. He's
It
like, I
just-
was just floating above.
I've never experienced anything that was that. Listen, you go through a trauma like that, and then I had to do like 18 different surgeries just to put my hand back together, my arm back together, my legs. And listen, it was a journey, but my sister and I, still to this day kind of talk about how freaking weird, like you just, and again, a siblings bond, like, sometimes I can feel if something's up and I'll call her, if something's up with me, she'll call me out of the random and I'll just, we'll laugh and talk about it. But that moment for me kind of just put things in a crazy perspective because I really questioned everything. I was like, is there a God? Why would God do this? Like, I'm 21 years old. Like, I'm an athlete. I played for a professional team. I was about to go to Israel next year to go play again with Team Israel, and now
Now here we are.
now I got fucking noodles for legs. So it started a whole process of me really having to understand that the recovery process was more mental than physical. Because
How long did that take? How long? Okay, so let's talk
that's
about
crazy.
So you had to start. You start out obviously with the why me, why me, why hath God forsaken me, whatever. That goes on for how long?
that went on for months. That went on for the problem. Again, a part of the problem was I was so doped up. First of all, you got to understand, I was on oxycodone, hydrocodone, a PICC line injection of Dilaudid, and not to mention they had just ripped out a catheter that was fully inflated. But I was so doped up that they couldn't.
Oh, God.
Like,
Or as
just think
Connel
about
calls
this.
it,
Hold on.
Tuesday night.
Think about this.
I was
Imagine
an EMT.
being locked.
I've done the hospital
Hold on.
practical.
Imagine
I
being.
know what happened to you.
Imagine being locked in your own body. You feel it coming in, and you feel the Dilaudid, and you're just like,
Cold.
and then all of a sudden you feel the most excruciating pain you've ever felt in your life, and you go to scream, and it's
Nothing happens.
A catheter they inflate a balloon so it stays in your bladder.
Okay.
Yeah,
I'm good.
Pulled out, and it starts to
and
actually
the camera
like.
see.
Okay,
That's
all
the
right.
size we're talking about.
Oh God.
They got
Out
to use
the
extra.
peeper.
Yeah.
They got to use extra big one on me. But
So Colt, what are you doing this weekend? Anything good? How are you doing there?
No, so again,
not
listen.
that.
So that added to the
Yeah.
healing process too, because I had a catheter attached to fix all that, and I had to do surgery to get the tunnel. Dude, it was just brutal.
So when you flip the switch, decide, okay, fuck this, I'm getting back.
So
going.
what happened was I got off the
were you
pain
mad?
meds.
Were you mad first, or do you just like, okay?
What happened
let's
was
go time.
I had a really good friend at the time. All circles back to weed. I had a great friend at the time that was just like, dude, you're not eating, you're not drinking anything. You don't want anybody to come see you. I'd shut out the whole world. I told everybody I'm dead. Like, just fuck off. I don't want to see. And really, I had a lot of people that had abandoned me in that time. And I really, started to question a lot of like the friendships and relationships and things that I had. And it was just an eye opener. Like at one point, I just realized nobody gives a fuck about you but you. And if you're not going to get up off your ass to fix your situation, tough shit. You'll be there for as long as you're going to pity
Yeah,
yourself.
nobody's coming to help you.
But at the same token, you got the power to fight it. it's not physical, it's mental. And so I had a buddy that, again, he would come into, he'd sneak into the rehab facility. I was in because I couldn't be transported, my legs were both broken and my arm was in a full sling and my hand had a nub on it. The only way I was able to transfer in and out of a wheelchair was they'd have to back me up and then I'd have to use my
kind of lift over
to crawl. This elbow was my savior. It was the only thing in my body that didn't break.
So you're like, I got one thing left. I got a chip in a chair.
So I started getting a strong core. I was at a rehab facility with old people that fall and can't get up.
Yeah.
I started doing, double the rehab. I started pushing a lot harder, and the doctors were noticing. And the same token, I was trading in my pain pills and my sleeping pills, which were giving me crazy dreams.
Yeah, I can imagine.
When I say my mind was living, I swear to you guys, my mind was living a double life. Mm-hmm. When I went to bed, I was
a whole new, like the Sims,
kayaking and hiking and running marathons and doing this and doing that. And then every morning I'd wake up and try to get out of bed and my legs wouldn't move and it would just be the worst pain ever. It's just, oh my God, we're back.
Yeah, that's right.
We're right back. Fuck, I can't go pee all by myself. Great, okay. And every morning.
Like the Matrix. Like you literally would go to sleep and be plugged into the Matrix.
For 3 to 4 months, I was locked in and I honestly was to the point where I was very debating suicide because I was just like, this. I'm a burden to my parents. They can't even move me into the house. I'm a burden to my friends who don't even want to see me because it's just like, fucked. And I'm a burden to everyone else because you're gonna have to sit around and take care of me. Like I'm a full-on potato, and I'm 21, and I got a good heart. I'm gonna be around for a while. I'm just gonna be a potato. So my buddy was like, dude, I'm gonna make you some pop brownies. Start taking them before you rehab. Start, in the mornings and start, I'll come in every night and I'll wheel you outside and we'll smoke a joint and then you'll go to bed. Mm-hmm. And just my whole mentality started to change, man. I just started looking at things differently. I would go into rehab and I'd be laughing and joking around with everybody and like, hey, like suddenly the doctors are like, you got some life in you, dude. Like you're back.
The will to win returns.
I had a mental, the mental debate was really all like, was I worth it? Like, can I do this? Am I supposed to do this, or am I supposed to just lay down and take it? And I wanted to fight, and within that time, I cut down to 2 years. They told me it would be at least 2 years for me to be doing anything. 6 months, I took my first step. Like the day of 6 months, I had a doctor's checkup, and I told him, I was like, I just dropped the crutches. I dropped the crutches and I was like, I'm going to stand. I just remember wobbling there and everybody in the room was like freaking the fuck out. Like, no. I had no ACL, MCL, or PCL while I'm doing this. My left leg had just been rebuilt, but I couldn't get work done on my right leg because the trauma would be too severe.
For both.
So I had to just have this one. Literally, this leg was a noodle.
Yeah.
It was
just nothing to hold it. No, the tendons were gone.
So nothing. So I had to deal with that. And that was the first 3 months. And then the next 3 months were recovery on this leg. And then once I got the balance back, at 9 months, I started to like lightly jog. Very lightly, brisk, 3, 4, 5 miles. But like we weren't maxing out.
Okay.
By the end of the year,
I don't know if I could run 5 miles now.
It's kind of a brag.
Dude, I was
bit of a humble brag right there.
I was biking a minimum 7 miles a day. I was biking 7 miles a day minimum. I had a Gold's Gym right next to my house. That was 24 hours. I would go sit in the movie theater, smoke a bowl, and
bike.
Ride. I'd ride like there's no tomorrow. My legs would burn.
That's a great way to rehab though.
Because that was it. That was the only low impact thing that my body could handle.
So here's a question based on that story. What is your, that's a lot of adversity to hit and overcome. So
at 21,
what is your tolerance level when you hear people explain to you why they can't do things? like
0.
Do you want to take a minute to think about it, or is that the final answer?
You know what the worst is when people complain to me about aches and pains.
You're like,
and I'll do this. I'll go, aches and pains, give me your hand.
Yeah. For those of you who didn't
I
see
thought
what
there was
just
going to be
happened.
you're about to have emotional aches and pains after giving me a hand.
Yeah, that was yeah, exactly.
I know,
You
it's just-
feel that clicking, and I won't even let you feel this one.
Yeah, it's the same thing.
But if you're an
Every day.
athlete, if you grew up an athlete and you lived as an athlete, and
Thank God, because had I not, I'd be a potato.
your mentality though is one where you get used to playing through injury. You want to play through things. You have a mental toughness. The kids that don't do that have, and there's this weird thing that you see in our society where we attribute athleticism and physicality with being a dumb jock, which is the most interesting people I know have had physical adversity.
I'm more of a nerd than anything.
Yeah, that's
I
why.
wouldn't call
Well,
myself a jock.
honestly, I got to tell you, that's why I love lacrosse, because you know who plays lacrosse? The nerdy tough kids, because they're all just
because it's not mainstream, right?
You're
Like the
supposed
high
to be a
school
little
football,
touched and play lacrosse.
Different.
Yeah.
You
Yeah,
just
you're
got to be
supposed to be.
different, bro. You see lax bros walking around with the
There was-
with
there-
the-
one of
The hockey hair. I'm
one of-
Canadian.
one of
so-
the th-
full-on hockey.
Canada's not
but-
national
but
sport is
lax
lacrosse.
bros are crazy,
Yeah.
different, like hybrid versions of hockey bros.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're just like a little more radical and like more Hawaiian.
little-
one of the 13-year-olds on our
Northern.
team comes rolling out with a shirt that
Half
says
from
"I
Boston.
heart lax moms." I was like, he's 13. He's trying to run it up on lax
Me too,
moms,
kid. Me too.
Him and Zach Wilson.
which I thought was awesome. So,
But
you-
yeah, lacrosse, that whole, so I went through a whole thing where I was in a hospital bed in rehab for about a year and a half, and I was trying to figure out what to do with my life. And ironically, I had a friend of mine that originally got me in the music industry when I was in high school. He used to take me to all the late night spots and all the, all the underground after hours places. And I think it was literally the first night I got out of the rehab facility. He was like, "Oh, we're going out. Oh, we're going out." And this guy wheeled me.
where'd you
out.
go in Atlanta? Where'd you go?
Club Cheetah. No. Amnesia.
What year was this? What year was
Highway.
this?
It was like Club Primal, maybe it was called.
Primal?
Or it was,
The only I know of was Pink Pony. Was that on Buford Highway?
No. Okay. If you pull out of Pink Pony and you make a left and you go down the street, or maybe it's Icon Lounge. No.
There was just some random bar out in the middle of nowhere.
No, it's not a bar. It's like a nightclub. It's
club.
like a club. Yeah. This dude wheeled me into this fucking club and parked me right next to a little stripper pole.
Basketball Diaries style.
And he was like at the DJ booth,
exactly.
and I was just
That's
sitting there, just rolling up a blunt, just smoking. Somebody came over, like, "Are you crippled?" I was like, not really, but yeah.
Not forever.
Not the most
forever.
flattering, way to go.
Yeah,
but I
not
mean,
forever.
he would start because he knew how miserable and depressed I was. He would start taking me out, and one thing led to another. I started, going out to nightlife and getting back into this music industry, getting back into the scene and getting around the same guys, and got back into, selling weed again because I didn't have a job. I couldn't coach. I couldn't do anything. I had no way of making income, and I could barely fucking walk. I literally had to walk around. You remember in Forrest Gump where he had the
Oh, yeah,
like,
the
I had to walk.
braces.
I had to walk around with those for a year.
But at some point, right? You go from being the weed dude to
So here's where
convert
it
those
changed.
relationships
Yeah, so
into something else.
You have to mature and progress relationships because obviously you're selling weed to somebody. They're not going to fucking trust you for any reason.
I got this
anything other than
investment
selling.
opportunity I want
Yeah.
to talk about.
Didn't Cat
Nah,
Williams,
bro.
Didn't Cat Williams say that? If you're selling weed last year and you ain't selling coke by this year, I don't mess with you.
You know what I'm saying?
You
So-
gotta be moving.
I got to a point where I had a flash and somebody, a close friend of mine got busted and the house got raided and I was in California, luckily, because had I not been, I would have been there and I would have got caught up with it. And that was the day where I was just like, all right, no more of this. We need to find something new. And I started going around and I caught a job. This is kind of crazy. I caught a job with an online marketing guy who was teaching people how to do build your own business, build your own websites, this and this, that and that. I went to college for, sports marketing and consulting. And I was like, all right, this sounds kind of interesting. He said, hey, I'll fly you out to Las Vegas. I'll pay your first 3 months of rent. If you don't like it, you can go back to Atlanta, but what's
What are you gonna lose?
What's stopping you?
Yeah.
Everything's free. Like, just come out.
Yeah.
Probably the worst job I ever had, but the best decision I ever made.
Was to come out here. Get away from hometown.
Dude, I was fresh, early 20s, and I just realized I have so many connections out here that are all from Atlanta because a lot of guys were coming to town and they didn't have connections. So really for me, I was like, okay, let's find the niche here. I started going out, hitting up a lot of the hip hop guys that were coming. I'm like, hey, you guys need weed? Okay. Let me connect you with the dispensaries. Let's get you guys paid instead of paying for weed. Or let's get you marketing deals, and let's do a little brand, Because
now weed's legal. So now it becomes
it had just
high commerce
rec.
above the table.
It had just hit rec, and I'm like, all right, bet. I think Reef was one of the first ones that we were talking to, and shout out Matt Morgan, and I brought in a couple of celebrities and a couple of guys to do tours, and we were getting people paid, and then it kind of progressed. Hardin started to do a program where they bringing in DJs, and bringing in the DJ, one Atlanta DJ, then two Atlanta DJs, and then everybody in Atlanta was like, "Yo, hit me up with that weed
paid.
store,
Yeah,
like what's up?" But really, things didn't actually pop off until I started seeing an issue with payment solutions in the dispensaries. Everybody's paying cash.
Mm-hmm.
And nobody had a way to take cards. So I found this guy just through the weed channels. I was doing a bunch of like off-brand licensing deals and things like that. And he was like, "Hey man, if you know anybody that needs payment solutions integrations, let me know."
Like, I do know those people.
I'm like, "Can you handle cannabis?" He's like, "That's our number one specificity." I'm like, "Okay, perfect." I start looking at the numbers. I tell him, "Yo, we're gonna partner up. I'll start laying them up on a dish, and we just start cooking percentages." I wouldn't even tell you how good it was, but there was a fat on the front and a fat on the back.
Oh, I can imagine it was just sick.
We're talking about the first time you could ever go in and swipe a friggin' debit card. People were more than happy to pay an extra $30-$40 to do it.
Yeah.
More than happy. And they didn't even miss it.
Yeah.
So that took off, and that was my introduction into crypto, because he was converting it into either Bitcoin, or I think at that time it was like Doge. Because it was just so cheap, and it was so light. I really don't even remember what it was, but at that time, I just remember somebody like, "Hey, you need to get a Binance account, buy a bunch of this Dogecoin, buy a bunch of XRP, buy a bunch of Ethereum, buy a bunch of Monero, buy
just
a bunch
sit
of
on it.
1,000 a piece, 5,000 a piece, and just sit on it." I didn't do that. No, what I did was I threw like, no, fuck that. I threw like $100, $200 into like ETH or I had Bitcoin on like a couple exchanges, like not Mt. Gox. What was the other one? BitConnect and I got scammed. I'd lost a lot of coins. And then like as things are running, I'm starting to do the math in my head. I'm like, I could have been a fucking gazillionaire. What's happening here?
Woulda, coulda, shoulda, my friend.
So
Shoulda.
then I'm looking at the age. I'm looking at all my connections, and then shitcoins, or they were called altcoins then, but shitcoins with no utility, no purpose. They started popping out, and everybody needed somebody to help market and promote. And who knows all the celebrities? Mm-hmm. Who has the contacts? Okay, well, give me a call. I'll connect you with these guys. Dude, I was just laying in contracts every other day. You need who? Okay, cool. One tweet and one post. Great. Yep, send the money. And I was just middlemaning deals day and night. And then it grew exponentially, because I started getting added into like private chats and whale chats, and I started building a name, because a lot of these kids were scamming people left and right. I'm like, dude, you guys are literally kids. Right? Yeah. Like, I've done business before where you don't. Somebody's
gonna show up at your house, and it's not gonna be good.
You're not gonna need a car wreck.
That's how I do business. So these internet kids really fucked with my head, because I just realized how much stuff these kids are getting away with, and like fucking up $100,000 projects, and then these guys are coming to me crying, "Ari, help me. Ari, you gotta say, Ari." I'm like, dude, you should have given a 16-year-old kid that you've never met before $100,000, and then anticipated that he was gonna change the world for you and make you $100 million. Like, come on. So that's kind of where Gold Group started. I took it from artist hospitality, artist management, which I was doing for all the celebrities, into consulting and bringing them brand deals. And then again, in the cannabis side, I was still doing the same thing. I was bringing guys a bunch of cannabis deals, and bringing them a bunch of different, and then brands would start to hit me up. "Hey, do you have access to this person? We need these influencers. We need family deals. We need this, that." Dude, I started putting around a team, and sooner than later, I think I had like 7 or 8 people working around me, and one kid was getting paid, $10,000 a month. I'm like, dude, you're 20 years old getting paid $10,000 a month. Like, you know what I was doing when I was 20 years old? Yeah. Nothing.
But I was a busboy at the Hard Rock Cafe.
And this isn't even to include the fact that like he's getting in on like early pre-sale deals on tokens and projects, and Bro, the kid was rolling dough. I must have made him over $1 million the first year he was working with me. But again, when you're building your teams and you're building people around you, you just have to be careful who you give the sauce to.
Sure.
Yeah.
It sucks, and it's unfortunate because now looking back, I put a lot of people in great positions and gave them a lot of leeway when things didn't come back. But now it's like, I'll give you the connection of a lifetime. You burn it once.
Yeah,
you're not getting it back.
Yeah,
you're not coming back to me.
That's a character thing.
Well, let's. I'm going to talk about this because all of this is really based on everything, man. All of your success, no matter what it is, it boils down to building relationships and building trust with people who, it's one thing if you knock on a door on 123 Main Street and you try to sell them solar and you got 5 seconds to fucking try to build trust. You're talking about people that have everybody trying to get at them. Yeah. Everybody trying to get a piece. Everybody trying to get next to them. Everybody,
even their family members. It's sick.
Yeah, everybody. So, So my question is, if you had to boil that down to Ari's secret sauce for how you get in the inner circle of these people, because honestly, if you can get these people's trust, you can get in anybody's
Don't
trust.
ask for shit.
Mm-hmm. Just don't ask for it.
Don't ask for a single fucking thing. Don't ask for a single handout. Don't ask for a favor. Don't ask for a fucking ticket. Don't ask for nothing. Ask them what you can do for them.
Right.
Ask them how you can make their life easier. Ask them what you can do to alleviate some of the stress, some of the anything. Don't ever go to a person in a position of power, money, wealth, any of that. Don't ever go asking for handouts because you know what you're going to get? That dude's fucking broke.
Yeah. Well, it's not even that. It's broke. It's that they want something from me, and it's like you want fewer people trying to bite from your apple. That's the number one. This guy was Greg Fox or Secrets of Great Rainmakers. The people that get the contracts are the ones that come in and provide the solutions, right? But I'm not going to tell you what your solution is.
Yeah.
I'm going to listen to you. I'm going to ask you what do you need?
I came into a point where it was like I was just seeing a lot of leeches. I was seeing a lot of people hanging on. I'm like, yo. I was asking the questions nobody was willing to ask. I'm like, yo, what does this guy do for you?
Yeah.
And they look at me like I'm crazy. They're like, yo, that's my cousin. That's my little cousin. I'm like, okay, cool.
And
what does he do?
What the fuck does he do for you?
Yeah.
He's on payroll.
What do you mean,
right?
man? He's on payroll.
What's he do?
He's on payroll.
In the free market, that guy's cost.
He's wearing your brand.
Right.
He's representing your label.
Right.
He's part of you and your entity.
What percentage of professional athletes go broke?
Oh,
I'd say it's like
90%.
90-some%.
90.
96 or something, whatever.
3 years out of the league.
3 years out of the league, broke.
I believe it.
Because they got, mom wants a Range Rover. Right? Yeah. Everybody wants a piece of what you got, right? Well, we all came up together, so now we all got to get rich together. It's like, no. Like Ari was saying, but think about it. When he was in the hospital, what's the number one thing you were thinking? I'm the one looking up for me.
I just want to walk.
Yeah. I'm the one.
It. My friends are
I'm going to die alone. I hate to tell you this. I hate to be a Debbie Downer. Everyone dies alone. Like you will be your greatest, asset now. You have to be able to protect that first. I really believe that. I think if you go up to people and they want something from you,
did you see the thing?
Burn bridges.
Did you see with the Rock and what's his name? Kevin Hart. They were doing an interview on a show, and the lady was like, I talked to The Rock. She goes, "Oh, I heard you just bought your mom a house," and he was like, "Yeah, I did." And Kevin Hart just goes, "$1 billion later." Like, "Hang on, Mom, we're almost there. We got to keep on the come up. Hang on, Mom."
Later.
He's like, sure. He's like, should we clap for this now?
I mean, no, I definitely went through my days of frivolous spending, and honestly, during the bull market, I was probably spending 10-20 grand a week on investments, on just giving anybody and everybody a handout, a dollar, something.
Yeah.
Let me ask you guys a question. I've been thinking about this. I saw something circling around on Instagram the other day, and I thought it's kind of a brutal perspective, but I wonder how you guys think about it. When one of your friends asks you for a favor in a professional capacity, send them an invoice for what it would cost, and then say discount 100% or whatever, so that when people ask you for a favor, you send them an invoice to let them know that this is what that cost.
That's the most Jewish thing I've ever heard. And I love it. As a Jew, I love it.
But you know what I'm saying? Like if because people ask me all the time, hey, do you got one of these documents and send it? Be like, that would be $1,000. Just, I'm not going to charge you for it, but I have to keep track of how I invoice in my business.
Yeah.
I can't do that because would take too many phone calls with friends and be like, "Hey, I'm sending you $1,000 a minute."
Yeah, they'd feel bad. They'd feel bad. They'd feel bad.
Like
yeah,
$5,000? What did I do? $5,000? Like,
No, but
wasted
but
5
don't you
minutes of
think
my
some
time.
people go,
Well,
oh,
no,
people.
I
Because
can't
like,
do
I think
that. That's too
other
much.
professional,
but I like
trade
it.
stuff.
This
but,
is what I think. I think if you're in I think if you're in a business where there is a cost of goods product that is changing hands, right? I think yes. Like for example,
I mean, but he's a lawyer, so if you're
It's
giving,
my time
but
is
you're,
my
yeah,
inventory.
but you're giving your services out. It's the same with me.
I understand.
You're asking me legal trouble.
I understand that, and I think it's easier said than done when there's actual. Because here's the thing: if you call me sometimes and ask me questions, and I call you and ask you questions, and that's fine. But like I always look at like Noel, right? In his bars, like whenever I go to Noel's bars, I always try to pay. I don't ever because he has to literally come out of his pocket,
Right.
to buy whatever it is that we're drinking. And
That's
I'm
goods and services. That's definitely a different.
And I think so.
scenario.
That's my point. I think if it's time, I think that's your
what's
option.
the most valuable? I'd rather buy someone a drink sometimes than
I
give
would
them my
too.
time.
I would too.
I totally
100%.
agree.
I can't buy my time back.
I totally agree. But then again, I think that also is part of for people like you and I that sell time, which is really what we do sell. I think you got to learn to say no.
Right, but we also sell relationships too, and I don't mind. I don't mind. Colt and I've called Colt and asked him questions because we have friends who are experts in their field, right? Yeah. I'm not talking about people that are within your own.
But again, you have to think of it from a perspective of you're going to someone that provides value, but you provide just the same value in a different sector.
Right.
Yeah.
This isn't somebody that has zero value to provide.
That's a
to you
barter system.
other than sucking the information out of you.
Amongst professionals, it feels more like a barter system.
Right.
Well,
I leverage my time for your time.
That's right.
But like
I do that
I
with
wouldn't come
everybody.
to you and say, do a whole trial for me for free. Right?
Remember that thing that happened though? That one guy that did that. He's like, "Hey, do you mind doing this deal and then putting my name on it so I can get paid?"
Yeah.
Absolutely
This is what I love. Exactly. I had to look it up on my phone because I had to make sure I was right. But I get this all the time, and I get like from flippers, investors, realtors, whatever. They always want me to value luxury properties for them. Mm-hmm. And I just get these calls like, "Hey man, I think I want to dump this property. What's it worth?" And I'm like,
A BPO will be.
no. My response is to answer that question properly. I would have to work, and I've been working all day. And then people normally are like, "Oh, okay, like whatever." Like, dude, I'm not gonna. If I'm sitting there and the MLS is open and I can run comps and I can kind of get a feel, or it's a place where I know
Or you know the area,
I know
right.
it really well, and I can throw out a per foot price based on what it is, then fine. But if it's something that's sort of obscure, I just say no because I used to say yes all the time, but people have to respect that. Right. But here's the difference. The difference is, I think you have to tell them that it's work.
But here's the thing.
If it's something I know off the top of my head, I just answer it. But if it's something I have to go work to figure out, then I think you're fine to decline based on the fact that it's work.
Or I would just say that'd be about an hour of work.
Yeah. And it's hard because
which
some
is
people,
fine. It's work.
Right.
Some people will say, "Well, I give you something."
Okay, they call me in an hour.
Right? It's like I give you something free. It's like I went on I had to go with the roofing company on a deal.
Yep.
And they're like, "Oh, I'll give you free this." And it's like, okay, your stuff's like $5. My stuff isn't $5. I can't do what you're giving me for
Unfair
free.
trade.
I can't give you free.
Yeah, I'm not trying to sound shitty or tit for tat, but
I
I just
agree.
mean in general, there is a time where you start looking at your own bottom line. And if you start tracking your own hours, you go, I gave away $24,000 in free advice this week.
Yeah. No. There's no question with that. And I love, and attorneys, honestly, your field is the worst because people are always going to call you and say,
But your attorney
"Hey,
will bill you for
hypothetically speaking,
literally
1,000%.
every call.
No, what's even worse is, I hate when you look at it and it's like,
I had an attorney like that.
it took 15 minutes to send a one-line email because that's quote unquote industry standard for billing. That pisses me off.
Well, that's not accurate. You could actually make a complaint about that.
Yeah, I know. I have.
It's 6-minute increments.
I have, which is horseshit. Anyway, so yeah, obviously, so now, man, with you, Ari, back to you.
So I mean,
It's an interesting thing. But he brought up a good
right.
point.
No, he's 100% right.
I'm
though.
not saying you hijacked this show, Connell. That's
No.
Colt's
I like
job.
it. I like it. Listen, at the end of the day, it's funny because I'm constantly put in that scenario where
With what
I have
crypto
to
to buy?
balance my, not even crypto, dude. Hey, I want to get my views up on my account. What do I do? And for me, sometimes I'll just automatically just start telling them, hey, you can do this, and this, and this, and then I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, fuck. I mean, you could just hire us and we'll
consulting
do it for you.
Yeah.
Like that's literally what I do.
Right.
So what is it that you do? What? So if I'm somebody that is listening to this and I need, and I'm not Post Malone, but I need some sort of
He and Posty already know
I
each
need
other,
some
you
sort
know.
of goods and
So
services
right now-
from Ari Gold. What do you
Right
sell?
now, we have a couple different umbrella corp set up.
Which I dig.
Like I said, I spread myself pretty thin, but not too thin where it's unmanageable.
Okay.
My main focus right now, we do Web 2 to Web 3 integrations for Fortune 100 and Fortune 500 companies. In layman's terms, that is, we help people, we help big box brands and big companies transition into blockchain technology, NFTs, any type of Web 3 presence or crypto integration. We also specialize in marketing and consulting. So we help you curate that presence. We help you, across all your different socials, set up your networks, websites, everything entailed A to Z. And then we also have, I have Gold Group X, which is just been acquired by the number one. Know what they are. They're
subject to a non-disclosure.
I don't know if I want to disclose their name.
Yeah, it's fine. You don't have to say.
Yeah,
that.
I'm whatever. Anyways, we got.
If you're subject to a non-disclosure, Connel law advises you.
Keep your mouth shut.
We sold one of our companies a couple months ago to the number one agency for OnlyFans and adult film stars. So I was managing athletes, celebrities, influencers, and then that kind of spanned into doing mass OnlyFans management, where we hire.
Found my new manager.
Yeah,
Found my new
Yes,
manager.
you do, Colt. You have a new manager. There you go.
we have like different types of integrations that we can do for like chatters or growth or whatever it is, and certain girls will come to us and basically just have their numbers through the roof after working with us. So we sold, and now my partner is in control of basically that kind of Rolodex. I don't deal with any of the OnlyFans side. I don't deal with any of I just deal with connecting people at this point. So I've kind of
Do you
based
know
myself out.
Bruce Springsteen's daughter by any chance? Okay.
I don't even get the joke either.
Yeah,
I want to be in on it.
Yeah, you went deep for that one.
kinda
That was
wanna
like
be in on it.
episode.
That was definitely
That was
an
like
inside joke.
that was
I
like
felt that.
episode 17. We did that.
John's sister
Colt-
one time called in
Yeah.
pretending to be her.
Bruce
because
Springsteen.
Colt thought he could make the Olympics in
Colt-
equestrian.
Yeah, Colt's opinion was, and
I could-
argued this, that he
Ari,
could. Here we
Even
go.
with your legs now and everything, do you think you could be an Olympian at
any
some
An
sport?
equestrian.
No, at any sport.
He says he could
Any
be in
sport.
6 months an Olympian equestrian because the horse does most of the work. That's
I
what
like
he
that.
said.
That's not
That's
a
what
fair.
he said.
I'm also double the size of your average jockey, so I don't know how that's gonna work. But I don't know. I mean, listen. Right now, I'm kind of going through a health thing where I'm trying to go back to the 5 to 7 miles on the bike a day and
Good for you.
hitting the sauna. But dude, I don't know about an Olympian. That's
You could do curling, man.
Colt, you're not going to the Olympics.
I'm made of glass now. My whole body's literally just you blow a feather on me and
But a strong heart.
You're not. I feel like we haven't had Colt here in several weeks, and I feel like it's time for some oddness for the show. So somebody sent me this. He hasn't said a lot today, Ari, but for lack of a better phrase, Colt is the guy that says the things that you think and probably shouldn't say.
I don't know. I think Ari's
so we're
that
the
guy.
same person.
Yeah, pretty much. So
Me and
somebody
Ari-
sent me
I'm
this.
getting yelled at
We
for
could be
saying things
getting
that I should
fights.
not be saying. Yeah.
Somebody sent me this. It's Pod Decks interview decks. Pod Decks interview decks for all
This
your
is a
podcast
great
needs,
bit, by the
right?
way.
It
We're
is.
keeping this.
It is for all. Yeah. So basically, they sent me this, and there's just random questions that you can ask podcast questions.
All right.
Yes. So I figure I'm going to ask Colt 5 questions. We're going to see what we get. You ready? Colt. These are random in no special order. What do you keep on your desk or workspace area that boosts your mood?
Topo Chico.
No, I
Box
would
of
do
Viagra.
topo. Yeah. No, Scott always
Literally.
puts the honey bun
The honey bun.
on my thing.
That's more of a
You know-
taunt, though, isn't it?
I'm
Yeah,
a big
it's a
Texas
taunt.
roll guy myself, but I respect that.
Doesn't
the honey
that,
bun.
isn't that there to taunt you?
You
Honey
ever
bun's
put-
like the
you ever put
the
that
less
in-
established
Yeah.
cousin. Let's like, oh yeah, he's with us, but
That's it.
he's not with us.
Have
Is
you
that
put
what
that in a microwave, threw some ice cream on it after?
Going through high
Get
school,
high.
going through high school, I had a best friend of mine that we would go to the vending machines every morning and get 2 Texas rolls. One we would peel all the icing off and put on the other and just eat it. It's icing.
Genius.
Good. Genius. All right.
Me and Ari.
Moving on. Colt.
Hey, they call me Snack Daddy for a reason.
They do call you the
Don't
Snack
let the
Daddy.
skin physique fool you, my
I
friend. I'm a
forgot
fat
that.
ass at heart.
I forgot that. Colt, what's the most creative excuse to get out of doing something you didn't want to do?
God, that's
He's gonna bust himself right now, John.
Oh yeah.
What do you mean yours?
creative. Oh man, I don't know. I'm pretty upfront. I just tell people I don't want to. I don't excuse. I
don't
do. I
use
tell
excuses.
people, hey,
Straight up.
sorry, like, nah, not busy,
Just
not
nah.
feeling it.
Yeah, I can see you telling people, no, I don't like you enough to spend time with you.
I have a auto text that I don't want to tell people what it is because then everybody's going to
now you have to. What's the auto text? What is it? Come
I'll
on.
send it to you.
You
send
probably
it to you.
have
Ask
said
me
it
to go
to
hang out
me.
sometime. I'll send
Yeah.
it
He's
to
like,
you.
Multiple times.
He's like, just
Multiple
read back through your
times.
text and look for the
Look for
similarities.
the same
Right.
one.
All right. It says, I feel like this says something, but it should say something different. It says, what's the main thing on your bucket list? But I feel like it should say, what's the man thing on your bucket list? What's the
I don't
man?
have
You have women
What's
things
the
on your bucket
nothing
list?
manly on my bucket list. Horseback riding.
Oh my
Even though I've
Wait,
I've
listen,
ridden a horse.
Listen.
That's manly.
Wait,
I'm throwing down the gauntlet right now. I'm
Wait.
feeling like the snack daddy
Oh.
would be good for the adventure list with us.
Hey, do you want to go trek down silverback gorillas in Rwanda next year?
You said that. That doesn't sound too fun.
Oh, that's.
I don't know if I want to kill
Track.
anything. Or,
No, we're not killing it. We're
Okay,
just
yeah.
no, we're not killing.
Okay.
No. See, Connell is the guy. Like Connell goes on all these adventures. So eventually, I was like, I want to go on an adventure too. He's like, fine, you just can't say no next time I have something, which led to literally us playing Indiana Jones at a live dig site in Saqqara, in 60 feet under the ground with 60 mummies. It was
See,
crazy.
I'd be down to do that in like Petra or something. Like if you said that,
I'd love to go to
I'd
Petra.
be like,
I saw Petra.
We're out.
You know what's funny? I was looking at Petra
right down
last
the
night.
road from you.
Petra's honestly on my bucket list, and it's dangerous.
Are
though,
you
because
a citizen?
I'm a citizen, but I'm also an Israeli citizen.
Are you an Israeli citizen? I was gonna say. So, can you travel to Petra with your USA passport? No, it's not illegal to do that.
Should I?
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
Should I?
Do you have Israeli stamps in your U.S. passport?
Here's how it works. Israel actually recently has gone away from the stamps and given you.
Well, they give you a piece of paper that is
so
stamped.
that you don't love that.
Yeah.
Shout out Israel. Second,
Shalom.
I could, however, if they found out that I was,
Well, Israel doesn't care. It's
not
Jordan.
Israel we're talking about.
It's Jordan that's a problem.
Yeah, they wouldn't be as accepting.
It would make the trip that much more exciting, though.
Hey man, I've been locked up abroad before. That's not fun. That's not. A joke.
I can imagine.
That's just not a joke.
That'll be part 2 of the
If
power
you
move.
had no morals, don't you think it'd be fun to hunt somebody?
Absolutely not.
No?
I save spiders when they're in my
Welcome
house.
to the
Colt.
podcast, Colt. Here we go. Just like
the
you
Only animals I've ever
This
hunted.
look on
are
Ari's
person is
face.
on this mountain. There's this person you don't like on this mountain. Go hunt them.
Oh.
He
I don't
definitely
wanna
just
murder-
watched Hunger Games last night.
Never seen Hunger Games.
He watched the most dangerous
Tom-
game.
I went to Elvis. No one wanted to tell me fucking Tom Hanks was in it before I went.
even better.
Pissed off.
Okay.
No, I don't want to murder anybody. It's not about morals, Cole.
Oh,
It's just
God,
about
that's
I don't
morals.
want to do it.
If I didn't believe in the
Part of
afterlife,
suffering.
if I didn't believe in the afterlife, I'd be hunting. sometime.
Are you that one that they talk about the atheist myth of like, well, if there's no God, then why don't people run around just murdering
No,
others?
he's the guy that goes postal over
I
like a
would.
box of Milk Duds.
Yeah.
Or
It's all
Tom
building
Hanks.
up in there.
Yeah.
Tom Hanks.
It's all
Don't
building
get
up.
Do you
started.
like Tom Hanks? No?
Yeah,
I don't
just
think he
leave it
does.
alone. Leave it alone. All right, next question. Colt, you ready?
My
Here's your
mic
next
was-
question.
I couldn't hear you on the headset.
Here's your next question. What are most people afraid of that doesn't scare you?
Himself.
Human nature. The nature of man.
Again, what are most people afraid of that doesn't scare you?
The unabounded nature of man.
That doesn't scare me.
Yes.
People don't scare me. There's no one on this earth
Himself.
that scares me.
I called it.
Yeah.
Humanity.
that one.
Yeah, everyone else is.
Yeah, I mean,
And we're going to finish up with this gem.
oh, great.
Ready? If you can install one piece of advice in a baby's mind,
Oh, no.
what advice would you give it?
This is cancel culture.
In a baby's
A
mind?
baby.
Ooh, that's a deep
So
question.
little, you can set it up for its entire life right here. What are you going to put in the baby's mind? What piece of information to
Don't
to
be
change
afraid of
this
anybody.
baby's?
Don't be
afraid.
persuaded by Cuban cigar manufacturers. Nicaraguan Hondurans just as
I
good.
like my Nicaraguans. I just say don't be fucking afraid of anybody. I
mean,
think people
really-
grow up, and I think people until they get older, they're afraid of people, or they they get around people and shut down. I mean, Ari's story's great, right? Like he gets around people and I don't know you at all, but I know you get around people and you just be friends with them. Where other people get around them
If
and
they're
they
good
get
energy,
scared. Yeah, but they get scared. They change their. I was always this person that I look back at 18. I should not have been doing the deals I was doing, the commercial deals I was doing. But it's just because I didn't give a shit if he was worth 300, 400 million or this,
I think you and I have a lot of things in common, and one of which is telling people of status or power that they don't mean
They don't
shit.
shit. So I just
That's why I was not good
Colt,
at
I love
LA.
that. I live for that.
I
was
can't.
not
I can't.
good in
I
LA.
can't
In the
believe-
deposition, though, I want you to deny you ever said that.
But listen, I can't believe you have this one opportunity
that.
to instill a deep hatred for Tom Cruise or Tom
Hanks.
Hanks
Yeah, why do you
in
love
an
Tom
innocent
Hanks?
baby. And
Why do you like
passed on
Tom
it.
Hanks? He started
I like
COVID.
Castaway.
He started. Oh, you like Castaway?
I like Castaway. Yeah.
We're not friends anymore. We're not friends, Ari. We just became enemies.
Also, I think that if Forrest Gump was made 10 years later, Tom Hanks would be the #1 most canceled person alive.
Probably. You
Forrest
couldn't make
Gump
that
is a
much.
story about coming through adversity.
Yeah, there's
No,
a lot of.
no. Forrest Gump is a story about a poor retarded boy from Alabama.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No, but
And a
goes
best
on to
friend
do
named
amazing
Bubba.
things.
And a best friend named
Yeah,
Bubba.
well, no,
let's cut the
Bubba-
shit.
well, let's face it.
Let's cut the shit.
All right.
The movie's racist as a mother.
That's like the least
Hang on.
racist, huh?
All right. What is the best movie made in the last 20 years that there's no way in hell they could make it now? What would you say? What is that? Let's answer that
Great
question.
question.
I know mine.
Tropic Thunder.
I know Tropic Thunder
The answer
all
is
day.
Tropic Thunder.
Tropic Thunder all
Why?
day. Because dude,
you
Robert
watch Tropic
Downey
Thunder?
Jr.
When he does
Have you seen
blackface?
Tropic?
Blackface.
He does-
And
I don't think it's that bad.
Oh my god,
Oh,
I
it's-
love it. I think
Do you think you
murdered.
could
I
do
love
white
it too,
chicks?
but I don't think
I
that's
think
like
couldn't make it.
You couldn't make white.
No,
chicks
I think
right
White
now.
Chicks. I think White Chicks definitely beats Tropic Thunder.
Yeah,
And I
White Chicks.
definitely
Tropic
think, dude.
You couldn't make The
Ben
Office
Stiller?
anymore.
Yeah, you
the
couldn't make The
or
Office.
show The Office.
Ben Stiller goes full
Wow,
artard
that's
in there.
True.
Yeah,
Remember going full artard, Ben Stiller? You can't do that.
you can't even say that.
You know what? I'll tell you a comedian that'd be completely canceled.
Who?
Every movie from the 90s. Jim Carrey.
Oh,
Done.
yeah.
Gone.
Really?
Gone.
Why? If you went back and watched it, would you be? Because I haven't watched a Jim Carrey movie since then.
If you go back and watch some of them now, you'd just be like,
Because they're not very good, or because he's like dropping
no, he's
hard R's.
great,
or-
but he's dropping hard R's. It's just like, some of the retardum stuff or
That's what I meant by hard R, by the way.
Hard R.
Oh, all right.
Hard R.
There you go. All right.
You
Yeah.
guys say
He's trying to
I'm
give you
not
the
PC.
subliminal
I'm not-
hand. Yeah.
Send in the hate mail. I'm not PC. I'm sorry.
Yeah, the thoughts and feelings of Ari Gold do not
like,
reflect those of the rest
Yeah,
of the
And Colt Amidan.
This guy's definitely going to lose the Gillette sponsorship at the end of this.
The Power Move does not intend to hunt human beings at any point in the future. So.
Robert
that would
Kraft
be
is-
the
Family's
biggest
coming for me.
rush.
Don't worry, they got enough massage parlors trying to do that. For them.
Oh,
boy.
wow.
Oh God. Well, all right.
What if you gave the human like a knife?
Oh Jesus.
How the fuck did we get back here? How did we get back here?
All right, this happens every single time he's in the room.
Okay, hold on. Then I got a good question for him.
All right, go ahead.
What's your weapon of choice? Give me top 3.
Top 3?
Hand-to-hand combat.
Top 3.
And then give me one long range.
I'll just take a AR for long range.
See, I think
Long
that's
range.
AR for long range.
That gets us
Colt.
canceled.
But I only need
He's
to be
dead.
away 50 yards from you. That's long range.
Colt, the
And if
answer
I'm
is
60
30
yards, you're done?
Yeah.
I would love to
The
go.
answer is 30-6.
I would love if it was law that if you challenge somebody that you
Do a
had
duel.
to, yeah,
It used
you
to be
had
like
to
that.
get
Yeah,
on.
you do.
That was 100 years ago, buddy.
How awesome would that be? Just fist fight.
It'd be
I would
horrifying.
love to fist
You live in a
fight
constant
people.
state of just chaos. It's
I'd
not
love
good.
to fist fight.
We live in the least violent, most prosperous, healthy.
Hold on. I got a real question. When was the last time you physically fought someone? Tell me right now.
This morning.
It was on.
No. I'm talking a
Okay.
physical altercation
It
with
was-
You
with
haven't-
a bloody nose.
He's married to
I've
a
never
Latina,
had a
so
bloody nose.
That's cool. But
I in front of the fountains at Bellagio, it was beautiful. Fountains were going off. It's on World Star.
how long ago?
13 years ago.
Oh yeah, he's got some built-up rage.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
He's ready to blow.
I'm gonna
Everybody
bring you
out.
to
He's gonna
jiu-jitsu.
pop.
Everybody out.
I'm gonna bring you to
pop.
jiu-jitsu. We gotta get some of that out before it.
No, those guys will beat me up, but I might punch somebody in the face.
Just go to
at
a
that
kids
time.
class.
Yeah.
You'll be fine. Stupid kid.
You
We'll start you off. We'll start you off. We'll start you off in a
my
beginner
God.
class. Everybody that doesn't do jiu-jitsu always wants to talk about what would happen in a fight. People that get in fights all the time, even recreationally, don't want to ever get in any fights ever.
No.
Like ever.
I
Because
don't like getting in fights because I know how
horrible
I turn
fighting
into
is.
I literally turn into a different human. Like I think I'm like half werewolf. Like if somebody gets an altercation with me and I get pushed first.
totally lose control.
Like
I thought I killed a guy. It was like one of the worst night of my life. I literally thought I killed the guy. The last
too.
fist fight I was in, like real fist fight. I've been in stuff in bars and stuff, but that bounced the guy's head off a pavement. I thought I was going to jail. I had to like run away and get a cat. I thought I killed the guy.
Same thing happened to me.
Yeah.
It's horrifying.
I mean, you go to jail.
you see what I'm saying? Listen, especially
Horrible
because
feeling.
you understand how I feel being a bigger guy, and John, you know too. Like being a big guy, you also have a low key responsibility not to fuck somebody up,
Not to kill
Because
somebody.
If you do, that's on you. Like doesn't matter altercation, self defense, none of that. Like you're the bigger dude, and they're gonna be like, nah, man.
Like, were they a perceived threat?
Yeah, like that guy was not a threat to you, buddy.
Yeah.
That's what really scares me, especially in today and age. Like, I bring a gun everywhere. I'm from Georgia. That's just how I am, and especially in Las Vegas, I like that the laws are similar. I learned a law where if you step out of your car and someone has a gun in their car, you dead. You know why? Because you're a perceived threat to them.
Sure. I mean, if you can articulate, first
I
off,
did not. A cop explained that to me, and I was mind blown.
you get out of your car and you attack somebody, and they're able to reasonably articulate that your behavior was aggressive,
Erratic,
or defending
right.
themselves. You're allowed to defend yourself, especially in your home. Whatever. You can't
like-
shoot a guy who's running away.
Yeah. Well, it's like Florida has what the stand your
Shoot him
ground,
in
the
the
stand your
back.
ground law in Florida.
It's called castle doctrine. Yeah.
Yeah, whatever.
That's
The
stand your ground. is Georgia too, dude.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah,
That's
and
me, it's
Georgia,
on.
Georgia's really loose about it. It's like, hey man,
A lot of
you got
similarities
a pistol. You got a pistol. Okay, you guys got licenses. Okay, who shot who first?
Yeah.
I don't know. All right, who got hit? This guy. All right, you get a ticket.
Arizona has mutual combat laws.
See,
He needs to move to Arizona.
this is what I
You
need.
go outside and say, I want to fight you. And if the guy agrees to it,
Duel.
you can go out in the middle of the street
And fight?
each other,
That's how it
and,
should
and,
be.
and the cops won't come and you won't be arrested for
See,
it.
I'm just looking
how it
for
should
if somebody sends me an auto text telling me they're too busy for me, I should be able to shoot them. I think that's the law that I
It's
need.
a little
passed.
aggressive.
That's what I need.
That's a little aggressive.
On the auto text. Well, all right, man, bro. Thanks for coming in.
course.
It was awesome. I appreciate it.
Love
if
shooting the shit.
somebody wants to find you, dude, how do they find you, man?
My Twitter, my Instagram at Ari Gold, ARIGOLD, ETH. So.
And that's it, man. Check out our dude. His Instagram is off the charts. If you want to see somebody that's living the life that you fucking wish you could, check that shit out. Connell, if they want to find you, how do they find you?
Connell Law LV at Connell Law LV, 3 L's in Connell Law.
Yep. And Colt, if they want to hide from you, where do they hide from you?
Mountains.
Do you at least
Colt
give your
_
prey a head
Amidan.
start? Do you give your prey a head start, Colt?
Absolutely. You
When the
put them on.
apocalypse- I just
you
wanna
put
end
them
it
in
on
like
this.
a 3-mile radius on a mountain.
I want to end it on this. When the apocalypse starts, or when this new monkeypox bullshit outbreaks, or whatever happens, this guy is gonna be up in fucking Mount Charleston,
Eating
and like
people.
the hills
Yeah.
have
Running it.
eyes with like a bush on his head. Like,
I'm going to go get
like
a
a piece of
rifle.
human flesh, like holding an arm in his mouth. Like,
Ari, you might not believe me. That was the superlatives used in his yearbook in high school.
I believe it.
I am
Most
kidding.
likely to be
Five
chewing on a human
people.
arm.
5 people were going top of the stratosphere. Anybody
One
gets
came
off
down.
the elevator.
Oh my God.
Most likely to have a human arm in his mouth in the next 15 years.
All right, guys.
It's been fun.
We'll see you next time. Hey, it's John Gafford. If you want to catch up more and see what we're doing, you can always go to thejohngafford.com, where we'll share any links that things we talked about on the show, as well as links to the YouTube where you can watch us live. And if you want to catch up with me on Instagram, you can always follow me at thejohngafford. I'm here. Give me a shout.